I would like to call this meeting, our regular council meeting for Batesburg-Leesville in our nice town hall complex on May 14th, 2018. Call this meeting to order. We have all members present this evening. And at this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Charles Leahart. Is that right? Did I say that right? Okay.
Close it up.
Yeah, if you would lead us in our invocation. Pastor Charles is First Baptist pastor at First Baptist Leesville. Right? That's right. Thank you, sir.
Let's all pray together.
Thank you for coming.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, maker of heaven and earth, author of reality. In you there is no Greek or Jew, male or female, slave or free. You are no respecter of persons. Teach us to give justice as you would have us to do so. You need nothing from us, so we know that you honor us when you call us to serve you. Thank you for that honor. May everything we say and do be for your glory and in your kingdom service. Father, be with us tonight, that we may see your hand at work in order to humbly follow your holy will. Lead us to appreciate your inner workings in each one of us, that we may value one another and partner together to serve you as you bless this, our home. Empower these wonderful ladies and gentlemen through your Holy Spirit. Fill them with a sense of your will, that they might have direction, and fill them with a sense of your glory, that their service to you might be joyous. We ask your blessings by the authority of our Lord Jesus Christ, and in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor. And next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Our veteran, Bob Hall. Bob, you want to say anything about your service? Maybe which branch?
Air Force, 4 years, 9 months. 4 years because I was not smart, 9 months because Mr. Kennedy asked me to stay.
Thank you for your service, sir.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda, adoption of the minutes, or I'm sorry, approval of the agenda. So moved by Mr. Simpkin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
4?
Yes, all those yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Agenda is approved with unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to number 5, adoption of the minutes. We have 3 different sets of minutes to approve here, team. Does anyone have, well, I'm going to start with the first one. If I don't have a lot of discussion or any problems, I think I'll do a hand vote on this so we can kind of get through these 3. Anyone? Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the April 9th regular council meeting?
You have a motion.
Mr. Gambrell, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. DeLoach. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes, April 23rd, 2018 special council meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Gambrell, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. DeLoach. Any discussion? If I may, I'd like to show of hands to approve. All in favor, raise your right hand. And approve unanimously. Thank you. Moving on. Adoption of the minutes, April 23rd, 2018 council work session. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Deloach, and Gambrell. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. If I could get a raise the right hand for approval. Thank you. Approved and passes unanimously. Thank you for doing that quickly. Get us through a little bit faster. Moving on to item 6, Mayor's Report. Next regular council meeting is June the 11th, 2018. And item B, Council Committee's Report. Number 1, Central Midlands Councilman Olin Gambrell. What's going on in the COG?
We had our regular meeting. They're still discussing road grants all around the Columbia area. They're still discussing changing the bus routes and water along the road. And they're busy. They got a lot of money.
Are they gonna, Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yeah, you may.
Are they gonna continue or redo service in Lexington County? Lexington County has stopped paying for the transit, so they stopped providing service
That's true.
in Lexington County. Are they gonna think about
It has not been brought up.
that would be something I would be interested in, Mayor, to see, one time we had talked about a dedicated shuttle from Town Hall to Lexington Medical Center, because a lot of folks work there from Pittsburgh. And also to cover shifts at Michelin, where people can hop on the bus here and go there and take the bus back. So maybe we can take bit Steve and
take that.
and
We'll
shoot some money out.
take it to it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's all I have there.
Thank you, Mr. Gambrell. Moving on to item 2 under the Mayor's Report, Environmental Planning Advisory Committee, Councilman Jason Prouse.
We finally had a meeting
Yay.
in April, that's 2018. Covered a few items, discussed the permitting process for NPDES permit renewals for the Lower Broad and Congaree rivers. Apparently those are still ongoing, it's a long process. The big topic of discussion was a plan update for what is referred to as the 208 Water Quality Management Plan. I'm still working out the details exactly of what that is, but one of the things that was discussed is they would actually like to have each municipality or each I'll just say municipality, each area who is represented nominate personnel to serve on a technical subcommittee. I've briefly spoken with Mr. Tim Shumpert in that regard, and he mentioned that he may be interested in serving in such capacity if we decide to elect him to such a position. That's all I have.
That's great. Any questions? Mr. Prouse? Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 3, Joint Municipal Water and Sewer Commission. We did meet again and actually had a budget work session beforehand for 1 hour, and very enlightening in what they're doing there. About a $16 million budget, and show they did a lot of projections out 5 years, 10 years, and even further with some of the population projections as that population is squeezed and moving this direction. It's pretty good stuff. And then the manager's report, an update on the water tank that's being built out at Cox Ferry and Highway 1. And again, that work is being done by Fisher Tank, Batesburg-Leesville Company. I'm trying to think what else. Those are the main things. There was actually a water main break in Pelion during the meeting, and they were able to resolve it in about 38 minutes, which is pretty impressive. And that's pretty much it for the joint municipal. Any questions? All right, this time on item C, I'd like to invite Mike Taylor of the Batesburg-Leesville Chamber of Commerce to give us an update on the chamber. Mike, thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. The Economic Development Committee set up a meeting with South Carolina Department of Transportation on Monday, April the 30th. Christy Hall, Secretary of Transportation, Andy Lee Park, Chief Engineer for Operations, Senator Katrina Shealy, Representative Cal Forrest, County Councilman Larry Brigham, and several members of the EDC met here, and we appreciate the opportunity to meet here in these chambers. Discussion centered pretty much around the intersections of Church and Mitchell Street, Highway 23 and Pine, and also the congestion in the Walmart area. Widening 178 and Palm Branch were also mentioned by the EDC. The meeting lasted about an hour and a half. At the conclusion of the meeting, the EDC had certainly a better idea of what the South Carolina Department of Transportation could and could not do. They will provide us a feasibility study and cost projection for the intersections mentioned. There was a lot more discussion and everything, and I won't really get into that, but it was, I think, a productive meeting, whereas again, we know what they can and cannot do and where the money's come from as we try to achieve certain things in the community. We were told that there are no plans at this time to pave or widen Palm Branch or 4-lane 178. We were also told that the money that comes from the new fuel tax is to interstate widening, resurfacing, correcting bridges, and safety features. The EDC had a meeting on May the 10th. Of course, we discussed this meeting a little bit. Also, we have reports, various reports. County Councilman Larry Brigham stated that the 4-lane into town is scheduled for spring of 2019. The paving of Highway 1 from the railroad trestle to the end of the county line is to be let out in July, and hopefully paving will start in the fall. That's what we hope for. He also stated that Chester Road, Clover Road, Sabre Drive, Sam Dennis, and Dixie Red will be paved to the highest level of the road to prevent runoff coming into Highway 1. County Council is reviewing a neighborhood ordinance, appearance ordinance, that would apply to neighborhoods north of 378. The ordinance would only apply to homes within 100 feet of each other. That took a lot of discussion during our time. Dr. Gary reported could not make the meeting, but he sent me a text, and he reported that the board had approved 1.909 mill increase. I think that's the first time in 2 years for operations. The board also approved Matt Velasquez as the new principal at Batesburg-Leesville Elementary School, and Coach Gary Adams as the new athletic director, replacing retiring Gary Phillips. Arts on the Ridge, we have received more than 45. We are very grateful for this community. It's a very gracious community. We've received more than $4,500 for the visual and performing arts camps this summer. This came from businesses and a church endowment that we received. We will have a spring celebration on June the 8th at Southern Occasions, where we'll have a performance by Sam Phillips. We'll also have some items for sale in a silent auction to raise money for the arts. That will be the 8th at Southern Occasions, beginning at 6:30. Hope you'll look and consider buying tickets. I brought Dream Catchers, again, is very active, and they have a Summer of Excellence plan. That will be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays, they will meet at most probably at the library. They'll have a study day. This will include a book club using books suggested by the school, tutoring and reading, math and English, and skill learning games. On Wednesday, community and community service day, visits local business, town hall, post office, fire department, so forth, to see how our town and businesses work. They will also be doing community service projects on these days. I'm sure many of you are aware that they went around the week before the Poetry Festival in certain areas and picked up trash and so forth, so they're very active in our community. On Fridays, those will be fun days. They'll go swimming, have outings, movies, bowling, sleep outs, and cookouts at Little Farm, and so forth. This also was due to generosity of another grant from another church, and then the church that we received funds from, Arts on the Ridge Endowment, also contributed. So one particular church contributed $4,000 to each group. So we are very blessed here for that. Want to also report that the Chamber had their South Carolina Poetry Festival golf tournament Friday. It went real well. We had 19 teams, and I do know one thing. I'm not as full of steam as I was 20 years ago. I found that out those 3 days. So thank you very much for the opportunity to give a report on what's going on in the community. Are there any questions? Yes.
Charles, you got? I have a question. I got 2 questions. One, and I guess this is kind of, I'm looking at, one I was looking at you, one was looking at Teddy. When they repaved from the train tracks to the end of town, is there any plan to put a bike lane in there? Can we do that or no?
This is just resurfacing the existing roadway.
Yeah, but I can't ride my bike on the sidewalk because Wallace will give me a ticket. And Linda wants me to ride my bike.
In the treadmill, absolutely.
In the trail.
For a
So-
designated bike lane, they would have to do a little bit of widening, so they didn't narrow up the lanes of traffic to create that bike lane. There would have to be a little bit of widening of that road, and they're not planning on doing that.
Okay, we might need to get Larry before June. Talk about it. Speaking of which, the Lexington County Municipal Association is planning to do county council debate with the 3 candidates. Will the chamber help us with that? We're going to bring in the League of Women Voters to help us, and I'd like to have the chamber partner with us to make that happen June 5th at the Leisure Center.
I missed the first part, Councilman. I'm sorry.
The Lexington County Municipal Association is going to be sponsoring a candidates forum for all the county candidate for District 2, which is our area. And so I'd like to have the chamber sponsor that with us. I mean, there's no money or anything, but the National League of Women Voters may join in the Columbia branch, and we want to make it a community-wide kind of deal. Will you help us with that?
I can promise you that we'll get the word out. We have not basically been involved in elections and everything.
Well, it's a fun one. This is going to be fun.
Huh?
This is going to be a fun one because somebody's going to have to get 50 plus 1.
Mr. King, this is a debate, is that right?
It's some candidates forum.
It's a candidates forum.
Right, yeah, we'd like to have Dot come and
If
ask a question.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe you can contact Mike and you guys can kind of take it offline.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm glad to discuss it with you. That's something I'd give.
I would love to do
anyway,
that.
Councilman, okay?
That sounds great.
You got 3 folks. I want to hear what's going on. I mean, I'm a closet Republican, but
I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay. Like that.
You just came out of the. Never mind. Thank you, Mike.
It's good.
On that awesome report from the chamber. And at this time, we're on item 7, public comment regarding items on the agenda. Judy, do we have anything? We have none this evening, so we'll move on to unfinished business, which we have none at this time. Looking at new business, item 9, proclamation of the Batesburg-Leesville Elementary School Palmetto Finest Award, which I did award to them at an event at TNS Farms, and I'd like to thank the staff for giving a escort out there. That was awesome. Whereas the South Carolina Association of School Administrators, SCASA, presents the Palmetto's Finest Awards each year to schools that offer the best in innovative, effective educational programs that demonstrate excellent instruction and outstanding leaders, augmented by strong family and community involvement and supportive business community. And whereas each year 2 elementary schools are selected for this honor after completing a rigorous application process and 2 extensive on-site evaluations by fellow educators and previous Palmetto's Finest winners. And whereas Batesburg-Leesville Elementary School has been awarded the 2018 Palmetto's Finest Award, and whereas Batesburg-Leesville Elementary School serves 494 students in 3rd through 5th grade, led by Principal Jamie Embry, and is dedicated to implementing personalized learning for all students through rigorous, engaging, and individualized instruction. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville would like to congratulate the educators, staff, students, and administrators on their accomplishment and dedication to excellence and outstanding achievement. Job well done. Do I have a motion to accept this proclamation?
So moved.
Do I have Gambrell and Simpkins? Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Proclamation passes unanimously. The next proclamation is National Police Week 2018. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week of May 13th through May 19th, 2018 as National Police Week. And whereas the members of the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Batesburg-Leesville, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of law enforcement, and that members of the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville call upon all citizens and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 13th through 19th, 2018 as National Police Week in the town of Batesburg-Leesville. I ask the citizens of Batesburg-Leesville to join in commemorating law enforcement officers past and present who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in so doing have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. I further call upon all citizens of Batesburg-Leesville to observe May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who through their courageous deeds have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of all of our fallen heroes. Do I have a motion to accept the proclamation?
So moved.
To adopt Simpkins, and a second by Mr. Mitchell. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It is adopted. Thank you. Moving on to item C, Proclamation Poppy Day 2018. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers, and whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle, and whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville do hereby proclaim this May 26th, 2018 as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Loach, and a second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
District 6 votes yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes. Proclamation is adopted. Moving on to item D. quick here. The date of is May the 26th as Poppy Day. Item D. This is resolution of the Peachtree 23 yard sale. Whereas the Peachtree 23 yard sale event will be held on Friday, June 1st and Saturday, June 2nd, 2018. Whereas the Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville will, for these days only, waive the $5 permit fee for any yard sale held on Highway 23. Therefore, be it further resolved that this is in effect for Friday, June 1st and Saturday, June 2nd, 2018. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Mr. Prouse?
Second.
Second, Ms. Hallman. Any discussion other than Charles being in the laboratory? All right. Okay. District 1.
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Resolution is adopted. Moving on to item E in new business. This is approval of contractor and funds for replacement of existing sidewalks in town. In our packet, we have a memorandum from our town manager and assistant town manager. If our town manager could step forward and talk about the memorandum a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually defer to Seth, if you guys don't mind. He took the bull by the horns on this project and did the bidding and pre-construction meeting with the contractors and.
There were horns? Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mr. Luckett. As mentioned in the packet prepared for this evening, there was information regarding the sidewalk repair grant. Each year, just about over the last few years, we've received about $20,000 from the county from seed funds in order to prepare various sections of sidewalks throughout the community. We were awarded $20,000 in 2017 and just recently awarded $20,000 for 2018. We were scheduled to do some repairs last year with that $20,000 that we were awarded. However, we knew that the other $20,000 would be coming in quick succession and asked the county to lump them together to do a single larger project versus just doing one project, then closing that out, then starting a second project. We were given permission to do that, so we did an assessment of where our sidewalk conditions are, focusing on high traffic areas along Highway 23 and Highway 1. We came up with a list, and as well as a few others that were known to be problems as well, and knew that we had a limited budget for this endeavor, and we put out an RFP a few weeks ago to find out how far $40,000 would go, and how long or how much the total cost of the project that we had on the books would cost. We did receive back two, as you can see on page 2 there of that memo, we did receive 2 contractor bids, one for $91,202.22 from CBD Inc., and the second from Advantage Outdoor Services LLC for $150,340.00. Once we had that, we also asked in the bid documents to not only give us an overall cost for the entire scope of work, but also an itemized cost for each section. So then that way, if we knew that there were not enough funds to fix all the sections, we could prioritize which sections to tackle first. As you see below that information, there is a list of each section and their corresponding estimated cost based on the CBD Inc.'s bid. And then down at the very end, there would be, based on, although we only have $40,000, there was more than $90,000 worth of work. We prioritized the most sections for the best money that we could put together, and came up with a total project cost of $42,000. And the request being presented and asked for tonight includes the $40,000 which we are receiving from C funds, and then an additional $2,000 from town savings account in order to complete the projects that we have listed in this section on page 2 that spills over to page 3. Anything else you want to add, Ted?
No. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for me?
You can ask a question? Ms. Mitchell, go ahead. Any questions? Anyone?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion for the approval of contractor and funds for replacement of existing sidewalks in town?
Motion.
Need to be pretty specific with this.
Page 3.
I move that we select CBD Incorporated to perform up to $40,000 in repairs to the existing sidewalks and allocate an additional $2,000 for the town savings fund for this project.
Mr. Prowse has made a motion to select CBD.
Whoa.
Sir?
Whoa.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
Sir?
we already had a motion on the floor.
No, thank
That's
you.
what I was gonna read off. You did good.
I was
I'll
repeating,
withdraw it, let
sir.
you finish. Let Jason-
Linda's got the motion on the floor. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll remove mine and Jason.
Motion removed by Mr. Loach. Do I have another motion?
All right, so I move to select CBD Incorporated to perform up to $40,000 in repairs to existing sidewalks and allocate an additional $2,000 from the town savings fund for this project.
Motion made by Mr. Prowse to select the CBD Inc. to perform up to $40,000 in repairs to existing sidewalks and allocate $2,000 from the town savings for this project. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, does this work represent the information on this sheet?
Yes, sir. You've received a map on there that shows the areas on a map view. And as well, we will put these sections out to the public if approved tonight to let the public know.
Which sections, the green sections?
The green is the ones you're approving tonight.
What's the red?
The red were the ones that were additional
Okay.
in the bid that we're not moving forward with tonight, but that'll be done at a future date.
Will those in red be the first prioritized sidewalks to be worked on after, whenever we receive additional?
Pending we don't have something catastrophic along our major corridors with the other ones, those need to be addressed, I would say so.
Okay.
You said that they are gonna be the first one, or you're gonna do a whole nother process?
Right. Next year, we hope to get an additional 20,000, and good thing is we've got a list here. We have those listed, because those are, the ones on Wilson Street are in South Peachtree are in very bad shape. We have them as high priorities.
Yeah, but, you know, you're gonna come down Oak Street, because that's where people walk. To get to the store, they walk on Oak Street. Well, I guess Pine Street going up towards Hardee's too, but I would like to make sure we put Oak Street on there for next year itself.
Okay.
Don't forget Batesburg. We down here.
There's quite a bit on there. This year.
There's a lot.
There's quite a bit. Majority of it is.
Majority.
Squeaky wheels.
They will. Teddy, just for Ms. Mitchell's sake, if you will just repeat that Wilson Street and that those are going to be the next in line,
Yes.
assuming we don't get, hit by a meteor or someplace and it knocks out some
Right.
sidewalks.
Yes, ma'am.
So they will definitely be on here.
They will. If we get 20,000 next year, we'll make 20,000 go within that priority list.
Now, one thing I do, the process with DOT and sidewalks, now these are our sidewalks or these DOT for sidewalks?
These are DOT sidewalks.
Okay, so the DOT, my understanding is that they will not build a sidewalk halfway, correct? They have to go from street to street.
Correct. Now-
So the amount of money that we have has to reach from point A to point B, correct?
Not with existing, because even if there's existing sidewalk, broken or not, you can have a start and stop point. It's putting new
Yeah,
sidewalk
okay.
down,
Okay.
that you can't go halfway through a block and stop. You've got to go block to block.
So now,
Thank you for the-
when did we get to the real, I mean, this is cheap and all. When did we get to where we need to put in sidewalks? New sidewalks?
I would say South Carolina DOT TAP grant is the best option for putting in new sidewalks.
Okay, are we in that process? What's going on with that?
Or there's further discussion, but hospitality tax, should council choose to go that way in the future, you can look at that.
I mean, it's a panacea for everything.
Well, let's be very careful to remain focused, everyone, please.
So my point is, is there another round of money for sidewalks that's not for repair?
So South Carolina DOT TAP grant, when we finish up Highway 1 and we get 50% through the Highway 23 part, Phase 2, at the 50% point, we can reapply for another round of South Carolina DOT TAP grant,
How much is it?
up to $400,000.
Yeah, it's good.
You'll let us
It's a
know
good
before
one.
y'all,
It's good, it just takes forever, Mr. King.
that's fine. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that.
The current
we have-
one
we
that we're
have-
still waiting on, we received in June 2014.
Okay, that's not an issue. I just want to make sure that we know and we have some input in where these sidewalks, futuristic sidewalks are going to go. Okay.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Motion on the floor is to select CBD Inc. to perform up to $40,000 in repairs to existing sidewalks and allocate $2,000 from town savings for this project. District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
District 4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and mayor votes yes. The contract has been approved. The funds have been approved, sorry.
Well, what's the start date on this? June something?
Now that they've been awarded, we'll go back to the contractor and let them know, excuse me, that council has awarded them the contract, and we will work with them to set a start and end date for these sidewalks.
Just a curious question, who's gonna be the town representative to check those sidewalks, make sure they're stuff?
The ones that are put down,
Yeah, who's gonna check it?
I'll ride out there and look at all the work. Last time we did this, I rode out and looked at the work. DOT has permitted this project, so DOT will be looking at the work as well.
Yeah, but
Because this is under a DOT
who's gonna
permit.
inspect it for town?
For the town, it would be a combination of myself and Tim and Seth.
Okay,
We're gonna make sure that what they say they're getting done gets done. And then DOT will inspect the actual sidewalks from the permit standpoint.
I'm not saying they won't do it, I'm just saying.
At least we don't tell you something.
I'm gonna move forward, guys, to keep us focused here. Moving on to item F on the menu. First reading ordinance rezoning 114 North Pine Street from C1 General Commercial to C2 Office and Institutional Commercial. This is Lexington County TMS number 0070-20-06-005. Whereas Charles and Sharon Hanna Family Trust, as a property owner, requested that the town of Batesburg-Leesville amend the zoning map to redesignate as C2, Office and Institutional Commercial, the property at 114 North Pine Street, TMS 007020-06-005, now zoned as General Commercial C1. And whereas the Planning Commission held a public meeting on April 16th, 2018, to review the rezoning request and voted to recommend this change in the existing zoning. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and council of the town of Batesburg-Leesville and council duly assembled that the properties hereinafter listed is hereby rezoned and reclassified on the zoning map of the town as C2 General Commercial. Do I have a, this ordinance shall take effect on the date of second reading approval by council. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion for the first reading of ordinance rezoning 114 North Pine Street from C1 General Commercial to C2 Office and Institutional Commercial, TMS 00702006005 by Mr. Gambrell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Harmon. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I would
Certainly.
once again caution council that we had agreed that we were not spot zone. And Mark was one of the folks that, you know, was very passionate about that, not spot zoning. We went through a whole process of, Mr. Reynolds did a whole process of zoning the town. They had a lot of input about it, and we decided that as a council, we would not be in favor of spot zoning. And now we seem to be spot zoning once every 3 months or so. Anytime somebody comes up with an idea, they want to put something somewhere, and they have a friend on council, we get this through. So if we're gonna relook at how we zone the town, that's fine, let's do that. But let's not continue to spot zone, because you're gonna wind up having winners and losers at some point, because somebody's gonna want to zone something, and we're gonna say no. And they're gonna be like, well, why'd you do it for my neighbor, but you wouldn't do it for me? So let's just be real careful about how we zone.
Mr. Mayor, what is the zoning on each side of this property?
C1?
So
Each side?
if they won't change it to C1 and ask to join, what's that?
They're wanting to change it to
To
C2.
C2.
It's currently C1.
Okay, currently C1, they won't change it to C2. Where does C2 adjoin their property?
C2 means you can use this business,
No.
just as a business or a residence.
It would be a professional office. If it was C2, it could be used as residential or low-impact commercial, like office space. This is a house that, just to point out the location, it's on the corner of, right beside Black's Tire Service. What's that road that runs between it? Hartley. Hartley Street cuts between Black's Tire and this house. So it's that corner right there, that house. They're wanting to take it from C1 to C2 because somebody used to live there. I think they rented the house out for a period of time. It's been over a year since it was occupied, and because it's been over a year since it was occupied, they can no longer use it as residential or rental of any type.
But the councilman makes a point of spot zoning, or is that what we do in spot zoning?
Yeah.
It would be a spot zone.
Yes.
We can't do that.
Exactly.
Sir, can you just go check the map on the back side of the property? Yeah. Make sure there's not a
And
secret.
while you're doing that, I'll just read on item 6 of the zoning amendment, just for everyone's clarification. Their explanation why this area should be zoned as purpose. This property has always been used as residential and never commercial. The property is being placed on the market by Sheely Realty, and an option of residential or commercial or combination of the two would enhance marketability. This is their explanation.
Everything around them is C1.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I understand the argument. I'm not making an argument for or against. I'm just reading what I have in front of me.
Now, I may embarrass myself in a couple of months, but because I'm not opposed to residential and commercial, I think that's going to be the way that we need to go downtown Batesburg in the future. But we need to go ahead and do it for everybody and not spot zone.
It might be time to kind of look at the future land use map.
We do. We probably.
Again, it's been years since that was formulated. It might just be time to take a look at that future land use map.
See, what I think I hear the town manager saying is that we may need to have a committee formed for downtown business development, where we can really look at it comprehensively, the community, the business owners, and some council people. Is that what I hear you saying, Mayor?
Not so many words.
Okay, all right.
I think we have a Office of Zoning Administration, correct?
Yeah, but we gotta get busy.
But I do understand what you're saying, and,
Yeah, we dying on.
the only reason this is in front of us is because they did not rent it for a year, is that correct?
But who made that rule?
I don't know that it's I don't know.
It can't be more.
Is that,
That's insane.
manager? I'm assuming that's what this application, this is their recommendation. The planning committee this is the planning committee's, recommendation to council
Okay,
to make the change.
I have the current zoning map, and then we have the proposed land use map of the town, and actually, the proposed land use map of the town does show it as transitional commercial. And that's for the entire downtown, that whole area right there where Hartley Street, where Dr. Hannah's dentist office, all the way from Railroad Avenue, south of the railroad tracks, all the way to like the Hardys and the neighborhood cleaners and all of that.
Mayor, I think we might need to consider tabling this thing until we can figure out.
One thing I mean, not for or against, I know that none of us are for emptying buildings in our town, having them sit empty, that'd be my.
Yeah, but let's do it comprehensive, but let's not spot do it one by one.
I understand what you're saying.
Mr. Mayor.
This is the recommendation of the committee. I mean, I hate to cut a committee off the knees, or
We're not cutting them off the knees, but they're making a recommendation to council.
Sure.
And we need to give them proper guidance and instruction on this. And this is something that's gonna really could create a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do it in a more comprehensive manner, I believe. But, you know, I'm not going down this hill tonight.
And keep in mind.
No one's done it
the
tonight.
process for this year, the comprehensive plan, rewrite and update that includes the future land use map is a part of the comprehensive plan, so.
Yeah, but now you setting a precedent here that when somebody else comes they got their grandma's house and nobody lived in it, and they want to put a beauty salon in there. They come one spot zoning the neighborhood, you know. I'm going to bat for them.
I think the only thing that this change does is allow them to put a cot in there and sleep. Right now, it's commercial.
So is that what the ordinance is? That's how we're gonna read it, that you can only.
No. No, but you know, I'm saying my house is zone C2, where it sits in that area between the roads. So you can.
So your house is illegal too?
It is not illegal, it's completely legal.
Okay.
No, but I could have a business in the home and dwell in the home as well. So.
And I don't have no problem with that, Mayor.
And I agree with this, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's gonna be the state.
Mr. King, on the spot zoning, I agree 100%.
If we don't have to spot zone, let's not spot zone. Let's take it back to the committee and have them do it properly. And council needs to really think about a comprehensive change. If you do it for the wider range around there, I would be happy with it, because that's not spot zoning. But to sit there and single this property out is gonna be a problem down the road.
So there's an option, there's a table option, or there's an option to deny and take that back to the planning commission with the thoughts of council.
Okay.
So either or.
Are you working off of
We've got a motion on the first reading and a second.
Okay.
who made the motion?
You did.
I withdraw the motion.
We have to draw the second first, or the motion?
You can withdraw first.
The first motion, okay. And do I have, would it be another motion, or would it be? I mean, does anyone else have any other comments?
I guess
Yeah.
my biggest thing is that you told we're spot zoning, but I believe just talking to Councilman Prowse, the last time that there was a zoning change was, I believe, last year in August or September, is that correct?
What kind of zoning change?
It was the rezoning of, it was a small white house kind of directly behind the Hardaway concrete plant, the old Hardaway. That was another instance, that was before this council was set.
And that's why we don't wanna,
Yeah.
we need some losers on this, we need to really go back at it. And like I say, I think that commercial and residential is gonna be the saving grace of this town at some point. So, let's look at it.
This is also the first reading, which gives us more opportunity to actually have the zoning commission actually come before us to the next work session and actually discuss this further. It's not an approval of the actual change, it's actually just saying that we're gonna move forward with this and we wanna know more about it prior to the second reading, which is going to be the actual approval.
But if you table it, then you have a better chance of finding out everything you need to know about it.
I understand that.
Was the second ever withdrawn?
It has not.
Who had a second?
I had a second, sir.
Mayor?
We have a motion that has been withdrawn,
A motion but not a second.
but the second has not been withdrawn.
So you would need to proceed with the vote. Need to vote.
Okay.
I'll proceed with the vote. First reading ordinance rezoning 114 North Pine Street from C1 General Commercial to C2 Office and Institutional Commercial. District 1.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. District 2.
Quick point of order.
Thank you.
Quick. I don't think this worked.
Help me out.
I don't know, I'm not for it or against it. Just procedurally, I don't know what the council wants to do, but once, if it fails first reading, then the process is gonna start back over again.
But my issue to you, Counselor, is once the motion is withdrawn, there is no motion. We can't vote on the second. So somebody has to make another motion. You can't vote on the second. You have to have a motion. What we voting on? He withdrew his motion. So
I would
he
think
withdrew
we-
his motion. The second really doesn't matter.
But I think
there has to be another
you have to
motion.
unwind in backwards order.
That's not in Robert's rules. You don't unwind. I never read unwind in Robert's.
I'm
Once the
using layman's
once the
terms. Thank you,
motion is
Mr. Gaines.
withdrawn, you can't second a non-motion. That makes sense? So you have to have a motion to, because you know, what you voting on, second?
It's already been seconded,
It's already been seconded.
Yeah, but he withdrew his motion.
not before the second. Not before the second.
Right.
The motion was made, it was seconded.
Properly second.
The next option, we had discussion.
Right, during discussion, he has an option, to withdraw a motion, take it off the table. But we do, I mean, you passed the ball, I didn't. So we'll go ahead and vote. I'm not quite sure.
The only point that I was making, that if you vote on this on the first reading and it goes up or down, obviously if you vote up, it goes to second. If you go down, it fails. So you start back over again.
Right.
Well, that's
what
first
we
reading.
need to do.
And what's wrong with starting back over?
Yeah, but
He's not giving an opinion, he's just stating
I didn't
process.
think there was anything wrong with it.
Yeah, because it's going, if we go to second reading, there's still gonna be spots on it.
So I'm gonna continue the vote.
Spots on it.
I'm gonna continue this vote. District 2?
Well,
Yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes no.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
No.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
No.
District 8?
Yes.
And the mayor's gonna vote no. We're gonna talk to the
Thank you.
the zoning commission in here. And it,
I don't know.
it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, it passes, okay, sorry. First reading passes, and we would still, anyway, there's an item on the agenda that will address what's coming up in our next meetings, and we'll talk about that there.
Mayor,
Thank you for clarification, sir.
can I make a motion that we establish a committee to go look at this? And we've got 2 maps that we're operating off of, right?
You don't really have an action item on the agenda to make this motion,
Well, we just discussed it.
but you've already voted on the current.
What, Mr. Granbrell, what I think we'll do is have this as an item at the end of the agenda for a next meeting or work session.
Okay.
I think it'd be the most efficient way
Okay.
to move this forward. All right, thank you. Next, next up on the agenda, check off list. The wonderful, the marvelous discussion regarding the formation of a hospitality tax public advisory committee.
I would like to make a motion that a public advisory panel shall be established to review and recommend to council projects, ideas, or initiations to be funded by the revenue of the hospitality tax fund. The panel shall be composed of 8 members, 1 nominated by each council member and appointed by full council. The committee will be overseen by the mayor.
That sounds like somebody done got together here. But,
Like done their homework.
One second. We got a motion, we got a motion, Ms. Almond, and a second, and you'll need to pass that down here. And Mr. Prouse or Mr. Gambrell? Mr. Gambrell,
Mr. Mayor.
and hold on, I'm gonna call for discussion right now.
Okay, good.
All right.
I'd like for our attorney to step up. Now, I'd like to hear from you, sir. I'd like for you to step up and give us the recommendation from the firm regarding this. Because Chris sent out a letter, an email, and he's very specific in his recommendations, legal recommendation to town. Are you familiar with that?
It was to form a committee.
Excuse me?
It was to form a committee.
Yeah, but he wanted to form, hold on, wait. Wait. All right, let the lawyer talk. That's what we pay him $400 an hour for. Let him talk. Sir, do you understand what she just made the motion towards? And is that in line with what our attorney has legally advised us to regarding this issue?
I can't speak to what Mr. Spradley has advised.
That's what you sit in that chair for.
I understand.
That chair says a town attorney, Chris Spradley.
Let's
okay, I'm just saying.
Let's keep it polite, please. Thank you. Let's keep it polite.
I'm just saying. Okay. I'm looking for legal advice. Don't sit back. What's the legal advice here?
Let me repeat the motion. Motion is that a public advisory panel shall be established to review and recommend to council project ideas or initiatives to be funded by the revenue of the hospitality tax fund. The panel shall be composed of 8 members, 1 nominated by each council member and appointed by full council. The committee will be overseen by the mayor. Woo-hoo. And that is the motion.
Yeah, well, I would think I want to hear from the lawyer, but the
yeah,
motion,
that's fine. I'm just
the
repeating
motion
it.
is out of order because it presupposes that we are going to have a hospitality tax.
We have a.
And it's not on paper.
It presupposes we're going to have a hospitality tax. It's not necessarily. I mean.
Why would you form a committee for something that you don't
That
have?
you hadn't got yet.
But anyway.
Pretty sure that
Go
was
back
the
to you.
council.
If we don't have the taxes yet, why are you forming a committee? You can't form a committee for something that's not in place.
And I think the council, the attorney
That's crazy.
made a point
No, come on, be real.
about that, and that's what I'm asking you, sir. I'm not trying to be flippant with you. but your firm sent out an email that specifically addressed this motion that has been made. And that's what I'm asking you for.
So I'm not familiar with the email. If you're asking my question regarding forming a committee to review.
I have the email in front of me. I'd like to read that for everybody's application if I can.
Thank you, Jason.
This is from Chris Bradley. He says, I believe that there needs to be a work session with an executive session for council to receive legal advice on hospitality tax before council moves forward with any vote on an ordinance to implement the tax.
Okay, is that the email, Councilman?
Yes.
So that email references legal advice, which would be an executive session, which is private, regarding the hospitality tax. My understanding of the motion is the formulation of a panel to discuss and review potential uses of the hospitality tax. Now, it sounds like to me there's some consternation regarding which came first, the chicken or the egg, or whether you should put the cart in front of the horse. That's not, that's for you all to decide.
And what I'm hearing from our attorney is don't do nothing until you get legal advice in an executive session.
Regarding the hospitality tax.
Right, this is regarding the hospitality tax.
So you can't form a committee if he wants you to get, any type of information regarding it, you don't sit there and form a committee for something you don't have yet.
If, I would like for everyone to please address, like, let's keep it out front. Yeah, no, it's okay, let's try to get sidebars one at a time, please. Yeah, I know you were feeling we had a sidebar over here, and I wanted you to be heard. Absolutely, I wanted your voice to be heard. Ms. Deloche, because, yes, I don't want you to overdo your turn, Steve, I'd love to hear you. No, Ms. Deloche, if you would, please.
I was just telling Steve that, having this committee, good people in our community that, it can go out and investigate all of this too. If we decide not to move forward with the hospitality tax, we're not paying them anything to find this information out. It's not that we're even adopting the age tax. I just think it's a committee that we're forming together of great people in our community that each one of us will choose.
Now, listen, I will dip my toe into that pool. My grandma told me you can't unring a bell. But if Mr. Lucky would tell me 10 projects that we absolutely have to have, necessary for, not that you want to have, that the town is in desperate need of for this hospitality tax.
Councilman Kane, with respect, I don't want to sit here and give you a 10 hard list.
I need 10
projects,
and I think
because I don't think we're voting on hospitality.
I'm not saving him. I'm not saving him. I'm trying to.
We're not voting on
as a community. Absolutely. I'm not shutting anyone down. I'm absolutely yeah.
The attorney said get legal advice
on the hospitality tax itself.
And I don't have a
So
problem
I'm
with that.
saying if you're gonna get legal advice, then you should not form a committee before you get the advice.
And the committee, and if I may, if the hospitality tax were to be voted on and failed, then the committee would simply dissolve.
Right. Well,
And I just want to be clear. I want to be clear when in reference to my comments and anything that has come from my firm. That email that the councilman read was specific to voting on the ordinance. It had nothing to do with the formulation, of an exploratory committee regarding the subject.
right. We skirted. We heard what he said, and we kind of skirted it a little bit. With this motion's kind of skirts it a little bit, but that's fine. We'll have time to come back at it. But to get to Ted's point, or my point to Ted, I would rather the town invest. If you're gonna put 9 cents, 2 cents on 7 cents, and 9 cents per sandwich, I would propose this, and I'd like for you and Seth to do a white paper on this. What if we gave every Batesburg-Leesville high school graduate free tuition through Midland State, through an associate degree? That free tuition does more to reinvest in our community than any park, any Christmas lights, or anything else. I would rather go back to my folks and say, you might not be able to call it a hospitality tax, but we're gonna pay 2 cents extra on a burger so that we can guarantee that every child that graduates from Batesburg-Leesville High School has.
Mr. Kane, I think that you can't do that with a hospitality tax.
I'm not talking about hospitality. We've gone beyond hospitality tax.
We're talking about the motion on the floor.
But hold on, my point is,
we're going to stay. We are in discussion.
Okay, well, my point is this. This is my point, and I'm gonna wrap it up. My point is this. The town cannot point to 10 things that we absolutely have to have the hospitality tax to do. These are things that we want to do. And I'm challenging council in this community to say, we need to make sure that we have the most educated kids in Lexington County. We have Midlands Tech here. Let's make tuition free for 2 years of college student associate degree program. And then we'll have economic development. You'll have good jobs. You will reinvest in our town, in our community, in a better way than a park, a swing, or Christmas lights. Let's look bigger than hospitality. Hospitality's been a panacea for this council for a long time. It's gonna solve all the problems, sidewalks, Christmas lights, everything. But what are we gonna do about these kids? These kids are champions. They win championships on football, basketball, track, band. And what happens? They go to Clemson, they go to Carolina, they go everywhere, and then they don't come back to our community. Let's invest in our kids.
I'm struggling here with the amount of time I should allow.
I'm done, Mayor. Thank you. I appreciate your indulgence.
Absolutely.
Question.
You go.
White paper Ted, Seth, help me. White paper.
Make a motion that a public advisory panel shall be established to review and recommend to council project ideas or initiatives to be funded by the revenue of the hospitality tax fund. The panel shall be composed of 8 members, 1 nominated by each council member, appointed by full council. The committee will be overseen by the mayor. And we, District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
3.
District 3 votes yes.
4.
District 4 votes yes.
What?
5.
I said I wasn't opposed to it.
District 5.
I'm not voting.
Okay. District 6.
Absolutely, yes.
7.
Yes.
8.
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion passes. Okay. Moving
I
on.
have a question before we move on.
Before we move on, yes, sir.
When will council be deemed to have that appointment presented to council? The members of the panel.
Council appoint someone.
I'm gonna appoint myself. They didn't say we could do it. Nobody said
We're not going to do it this evening, but, so.
we don't do it by June either. Okay. Anyway, y'all go ahead. I'm on free education for kids.
Mr. Simpkins, any other thing on that? I think
That is?
I don't have an answer for that at this moment. I don't. We're almost off script here.
That's a good question.
It's a great question.
You mean I wasn't written on that piece of paper?
My suggestion was we would bring an appointee to the next work session if it's possible. Each person bring an appointee. I mean, if we can.
May 29th or
Yeah, but
January?
Or we need more time? Or in June? June regular meeting? Okay. I think that's fine.
I mean, why would you bring the council? You gonna say no?
Or to a work
My
session.
person can't.
All right.
All right.
We'll get into the future here.
What was that answer?
I think we'll look at June.
I'm itching.
Either that or work session. There should be an education, I would imagine, for these appointees on the hospitality tax. Yeah, June.
June council meeting.
Did your council meeting or work session?
I think it should be in the work session. My thought is that I would imagine people need to have an understanding of the legal, of the hospitality tax, how it works, what types of things they could recommend, so they don't recommend giving everyone a college education in Batesburg-Leesville, which is an awesome idea.
Let's do it then.
We can't do it with hospitality tax. That'll be a different, that's gonna be a different tax, and I think it's gonna be the Steve Kane tax. I'm gonna move on to the, now, point of order, ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward on to the manager's report. Sir Luckadoo, if you would, the investment sweep account, tell us what's good, what's bad, what's happening.
I don't know how I followed that act.
Just keep on moving, sir.
All right. As you may recall, we came to you guys asking for permission to restructure our bank accounts. Well, on April 25th of this past month, we swapped over from our old accounts to our new investment sweep accounts. We swept for roughly 5 days at the end of last month. The general fund, we were sweeping a little over $1.3 million for the general fund, and in the 5-day time period, we saw interest earned at $174 over 5 days. For the utility fund, it also began on April 25th, and we were sweeping approximately $2.3 million into the investment sweep account daily. And in the last 5 days of April, we saw interest earned of $297.70. So in the last 5 days of April, the first 5 days of doing this, we saw a combined $472 in investment interest earned over that 5-day time period. So that is more than we see in an entire year in the previous bank structure. So this is proving to be a good decision. I can't wait to see what a whole month looks like if we're getting $472 in a 5-day time period.
Approximately $1,888.
Depending on how the money fluctuates up and the daily balances fluctuate up and down, but that would be a good approach.
Does the interest rate fluctuate with the market, or is it?
We're earning at a 0.80.
Okay.
And that's standard. It's not fluctuating with the market. All right, that's it for that.
Number B, Ridgel Street water tank improvements.
The Ridgel Street water tank finished up work on May 4th. They have done all the testing of the water samples after filling it back up. Everything's passed. The Ridgel Street water tank is back up and operational, which is good because this past weekend Ridge Spring was tugging some water, and it was a good thing we had that tank back online, which is the primary source for feeding them the water. So the timing could not have been any better. I want to give a kudos to the Leary Construction Company that did this job on how quickly they got this done. But we did do the tree trimming, and as far as the fencing, Tim, did they get by this past week?
It's supposed to be here this week.
All right, this week they'll be putting the new fencing up around the water tank.
That's awesome. Anything else? Any
That's
questions?
it for that.
Item C, CDBG sewer lift station improvements.
This is the, as you'll recall, the CDBG grant that we received from Lexington County. The control panel shop drawings for these lift stations have been returned to AAA Utilities, and revisions and all the submittals have been made. The bypass pumping submittals were approved, and all the materials for those were ordered. AAA Utilities has met with staff at each of the pump station sites to expose the existing piping to verify sizes of and materials of the previous bypass pumping we had in place. Work is scheduled to begin the week of May 14th this week, and getting materials in and start to get to work on each of these pump stations, get them done.
Does it cause any traffic stuff with this type of construction, school, anything?
If any one of them could possibly, I would think it would be Berwick Offray, correct, Tim? It's the closest to the road.
They should be able to contain everything to the individual sites, but because it's a little bit tight at Burke Offray to get the construction equipment and trucks, maybe a little busy.
We might just give Lex 3 a heads up if school's not out. I mean, just.
Yeah, we can do that. And if we see a point where they think they may be having trucks in and out and it could cause some delays, we'll work with the school district 3 on that. And with that turn being right there, we will work with our law enforcement too to make sure that we have officers prior to that curve and after, if they're going to be partially on the roadway.
All right, any questions on the sewer lift stations? I know it's sexy stuff. Item D, May work session.
I sent an email out. It does appear, I don't think everyone, I think we had one respond that May 29th would not work, but for the most part, all the feedback that I received back was that May 29th, Tuesday, would work for the workstation because that Monday is a holiday for the town, and so we talked about shifting it to Tuesday, May 29th. If there's anyone else other than the one I have heard from that cannot, please let me know so that we can note that. But this will be a budget work session.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now, Ted, we have a good time here with this thing, but I'm dead serious. I want to see the numbers from Ron Reigns. What it would cost to have every graduate from Batesburg-Leesville get 2 years free tuition to go to Midlands Tech. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see those numbers.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
if I'm not mistaken, they already have a program.
That's why
And I don't mean to cut us off on this. We're off of.
we on the manager's report.
Okay, all right.
Mike Taylor is going to do something.
I'm sorry, I'm not. The only thing I was saying is, at the advisory meeting at Miller's Technical College, it's kind of switched over that in the past, the Miller's Technical College has come with the agenda and so forth. Now it's been a chairman appointed from the community and so forth. They're asking us to look into such a thing. There are things like that going around the state, but it's from people donating money. It's a way to see, it's a way to cover somebody that's lacking just enough money to get into college because you got all these other opportunities. Right. So it'd be a filler, so to speak. But it's called Friends of whatever.
I don't care how they do it, Mike. I just think that we need that.
There are ways to go about that. That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's not impossible. It's not a stupid thing to say, to ask, to look into it, because those kids, once you educate those kids and you train them, you put that investment and you also couple that with some job opportunities, we keep our kids here. And we also draw businesses here because we have well-educated kids through an associate degree. They're not just high school kids flipping.
I think we're all on the same page with that. Yeah, let's move on. Item 11, executive session. We have 2 items for this evening: discussion of contractual matters relating to advanced disposal contract and discussion of possible contractual matters relating to the water project. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Simpkins, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mitchell. All in favor? Wait, any discussion?
Yeah, there's some discussion.
Okay,
because
some discussion.
Are you prepared to go in and talk about this? Because there's no need of going in and talking about a contractual agreement when this other thing that came up and,
I don't know that this is discussion, or is this a question for me, or is this a question for the town manager, Mr. Kane?
We're going into executive session to get legal advice.
We have 2 items before executive session. This is discussion of contractual matters relating to advanced disposal contract and discussion of possible contractual matters relating to the water project.
Okay, I'm listening.
Any other discussion?
Our attorney don't want to come.
Any other discussion?
You come when you want to come.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? District 1?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
4?
District 4 votes yes.
5? 6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. We are in executive session.
They leave you pass it.
Make the motion, we come out executive session.
So moved. Mr. Gambrell, do I have a second?
Second.
A second, Ms. Holman. I'm gonna do an all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, and that passes. We are now back in regular sessions. Moving on to, there are no actions by council and follow to executive session. Moving on to the next, which is potential agenda items for next month's meeting.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'd like us to, oh, yeah, voting, what we voting? Oh, for next
We went
month?
up and down on coming back in.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're back in session, yeah.
Next meeting.
Potential agenda items for next month's meeting, yes, Mr.
Yeah,
King.
I like to put the Twin City Park project on there for up and down vote, so we can move on with this.
I'm kind of reserving the up and down vote for those items that are up and down votes. So is it up and down vote? Absolutely.
But let's put it on the agenda, please.
Thank you, on the agenda. Any other items, potential agenda items for next month's meeting?
And based upon the vote to form a panel for the H-Tax, we need to put that on the agenda for next month also. The
First reading.
representative from each council to be brought before council.
I think we're doing that at the work session.
Said next month.
If you appoint them, you appoint them.
Okay, anything else? Okay, if there's nothing else there, then do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Gambrell, second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Loach. All in favor, raise your right hand. And we are adjourned.